She's my rainbow. She really is. Makes me smile. She's funny, quirky. You know, I'll have a shitty day and she'll say something that just snaps me out of it.
My name's Chris Keeble, but I'm known as the barbering biker by the Aussie and the Indian. So that's me from Sydney, Australia.
My name's Damian Marcantonio and from Melbourne, Australia. And I've got a channel which is called Road Trip Roz.
I ride an Indian Chief 2016 model, which is highly customised.
And I ride an Indian Challenger, but it's a Jack Daniel's limited edition, number 91 issued.
Well, I was like mid-20s before I had babies. My then husband was a motorbike rider and I really didn't like being a pillion. I felt like I had no control, which you don't. And he was very encouraging. He said, look, go and do your licence. In Australia, it's a bit of a process and you can ride a small bike under like a 250cc. You got to ride that for so long before you can advance through the sizes of motorbike. And I did that, but then I started having babies, so I sort of put it all aside for a good 10 years or so, then slowly nibbled at it. And then when we decided to split, and it was very amicable, he just said, you know what, when, you should do it now. Go and finish, get a bike and really get into it. So I did. So that's how the more serious aspect of riding happened probably in my early 40s, even though I got my riding license in my 20s, but having babies sort of put a thing to it.
Mine was dirt bikes all my life. So a little CR50, little Honda, then went to Yamaha, then went to a Suzuki, then went back to Yamaha. And I had Yamahas all my life until I bought an Indian actually, and then stayed with the Indians for the last while. Yeah, it's been a while now. I've had 3 Indians.
Mine was I think it was a 250 Suzuki, and it fell to bits the day I could advance to the higher level. Then I got a Harley Davidson Sporty 883. It's like it knew its life was ready to finish, and it just all fell to bits at the right time.
My brother actually bought my first motorbike, to my mother's horror. So my mother was anti-motorcycles. And every time that my brother and I used to go off, she used to do the sign of the cross, it was so funny. But to answer that, I grew up riding motorcycles on a farm. I work within the food and pharmaceutical industry, so I'm with automation and robotics, artificial intelligence.
I'm a designer and a creative person, so I repurpose leather. I'm a travelling junkyard. So I find bits and pieces and I repurpose them to suit the style and what I've tried to create with the bike, which is a very steampunk, equestrian, Mad Max theme. So that's the only work I do on my bike. Mechanical stuff, I leave it to the experts.
I'm an old farm boy, so self-reliant. So that stems to that, back to that way, yeah.
So practical.
Try to be.
I live in a dream world. We met because we both ride Indians, and there's that, like all bike brands, they have a bit of a connection and a community. So when I would ride down to Victoria, which was like 8 hours away, I'd put a post up to say, look, I'm riding through, and then the other Indian riders in that area said, hey, we'll meet you along the way. And then, so I met Damian on a few rides down there, and along with a whole bunch of other Indian riders. And Damian a couple of years ago was coming to Sydney, so I said, well, I'll get the New South Wales riders together and we'll all have Christmas drinks. But it was a very busy time and no one could make it, so I said, well, I'm still around, so we'll have a drink still. And he was single then, at that point, so I took advantage of him.
She did, literally.
And so it's been 2 years. I got him drunk, had my way with him, sent him off in a cab.
You did, literally.
I had to be a lady. So we've been together 2 years.
We've known each other
couple.
for 7.
We've known each other for 7, been together for 2 years
Yep.
as a couple. In Australia, I've generally always been a bit of a solo rider.
Chris's riding style is gracefully, comfortable, and smooth. That's how I say your riding
I'm known
style.
as the world's not so fastest Indian. I'm on a big lounge chair and I'm a cruiser, so I just like to take it easy. Damian is a performance rider and he's obviously on a bike that's a performance bike with the Challenger. and he rides. He's an extremely good rider. And if we're on a signature road, for instance, like Tail of the Dragon or the $1 Million Highway that we've recently done, I just say to him, off you go, I'll see you at the end. And he just does his thing, and then I chug along at my speed. So I ride within my zone, and he rides,
Yeah, but saying that, you handle that bike so well. There was one day in Australia that...
Yeah, sometimes I have a mojo. Well, I call him MacGyver because he's so practical and capable, and he can fix anything. He's patient. I'm not patient. I mean, to give you an example, I buy a packet of chips or crisps. I just tear into them. I open them. I don't care if they're the right side up or
Upside
anything.
down.
And Damian would take his time and work out how to open it. He is a Swedish architect with things.
And you are?
A raccoon on meth.
Yep. That's the only way you can
That's
describe
our
it.
difference. So his superpower is his patience, his ability, his capability. He's MacGyver. Fixes everything. He's patient. And mine?
Yeah, what's Chris's
Besides
superpower?
being a raccoon on meth.
She's my rainbow. She really is. Makes me smile. She's funny, quirky. You know, I'll have a shitty day and she'll say something that just snaps me out of it. It's a powerful thing that she has. So she's the rainbow. I'm the shade of grey or whatever it is.
It's a bit more black and white.
Black and white, yeah. Where Chris is my rainbow. You know, I'll have a down day and she'll pick it up, and that's one thing. She'll know when I'm having a really down day, and actually cheer me up some way.
Good or bad, this happened on this adventure.
Yeah.
We were leaving Colorado Springs, and we were told about these roadworks, road closures. We hit accidents. It was what should have been a 4-hour ride was a 7-hour ride. We came out of Colorado Springs. We were trying to find the shortcuts to avoid all these so-called road closures, but we actually still found ourselves at a road closure, and the detour was about an 8-mile chalky, dusty gravel. Talcum powder, but big rocks
underneath it.
Ridges and up a mountain, so there was hairpin bends. It was the most frightening conditions I've ever ridden in. And the hairpin bends, I was scared, I was crying. Damian kept saying, focus on me, because he was trying to lead the line, and my turning circle's a bit broader than his, and it was horrifying, but it's one we still talk about today because it was an achievement. I was so proud of myself for actually making it out of there alive. My advice to particularly women would be, I'd buzz around, I'd get a little scooter or something little, like a little 250, and just get that road sense and feeling of what it's like to be so exposed.
I think, you know, all the years that I've learnt riding motorcycles, what I would say to somebody who's getting into motorcycles is to go and do an advanced riding course. I did superbike school, and I did a full day of superbike school. Now, I've been riding since I was a kid, and what that taught me was how good I wasn't, or, you know, how much...
how many bad habits you might have
had. The bad habits, and not only that, the capabilities that I thought I had, I really did not have. So the school was giving me theory and practical, and you know, you don't have to do your multiple courses, just do your first one. And it actually teaches you the dynamics of the motorcycle, how they react under those circumstances, heavy braking, cornering at a certain point without acceleration, with acceleration. They teach you that. I find that everything is not a problem regarding on the other side of what we're used to. But what I have found is on the major interstates, the speeds are ridiculous.
We don't go over 110 in Australia. Kilometres, what's that in miles?
55.
So there's no
50,
road
60.
in Australia. Maybe there's a bit in the outback where there's nothing going on.
130 maybe, yeah.
But generally,
kilometres.
No roads in Australia go over 55 miles per hour.
And all our trucks are governed at 100 kilometres.
They can't go over. They've got stoppers on them.
So here,
my God,
you have a sign that says 65 miles, and we're sitting on 85.
And
to stay with the traffic,
trucks
to be
are
safe.
Still overtaking us.
One of the things that I actually have found is the road conditions are fantastic.
Beautiful. Outside of the suburbs.
Yeah.
But the signature ride roads are amazing.
Yeah, they are really.
The camber's lovely. It's beautiful.
Clean roads, good condition. Unlike, unfortunately, Australia at the moment is going through a bit of a rough patch. Dare I say that?
Excuse the pun.
Yeah, excuse the pun.
On the roads, they're rough as guts.
Australia at the moment has a real serious problem with road conditions, And for motorcyclists, it's dangerous.
I'm grateful for my healthy children and my healthy grandchildren and my health and Damian and how fortunate I am in life. You know, I certainly don't take my health for granted. I think while you have your health, the world's your oyster, really. You can make anything happen.
I have to agree. You know, your health, your children, the ability that you are still able to do, you know, live life to the fullest. They say the new 50 is the new 40, the new 60 is the new 50. Yeah. So I have to agree with everything Chris said. Yeah.
Like, you guys have been amazing. You know, and I contacted a lot of places for this trip, and you know, there was very few that picked up the emails or the phone calls, and you guys just jumped onto the fact that I was visiting straight away and got my back tyre. There's been no problem whatsoever. So it's been an amazing experience having you guys here.
I'd have to say authentic. It's a real authentic motorcycle shop. The stuff that I remember when I was a kid.
Yeah, it's got
you
that,
know,
hasn't
it's
it?
got that feel about,
Yep.
you know, this is what we believe.
Yep.
You know, this is what we love.
We're going to talk the real language with you.
Yeah,
you know, it's
and
real.
I was actually talking to somebody about it yesterday, because I walked out of that shop and I thought, it's not a supermarket. It's not just a, you know, corporate outfit. These people are passionate about what they're doing, and you know, nothing was too hard, and it really was authentic.
And it's got that family vibe.
Well,
about
the family
it as well.
vibe, yeah. You know, there was, you know, behind the counter there was a couple of children, and I thought, how wonderful is that? And it reminds me of the days when I was a young boy looking at motorcycles, when I was drooling over them, you know, as a kid, you know, waiting for my bus for school. Thank you.
Great. What a great
really
experience.
appreciate it.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Main Street Moto.
Yes.
Love you guys.